Um, well, when I call them, the shepherds, when the boys found me, I lost everything. I lost my friends. I lost my family. I was in the process of losing my home. I've had someone close to me die, and I was just really consumed with alcohol. And when the boys, there was a voice in my head that told me to pray. And I was so consumed with the problems in my life, I would just be like, I can't. And then this little voice was like, well, Google it. And I did. And, I don't believe in chances, not at all, because this was nothing short of a miracle that I found these boys, in that the church was literally, here's another chance, 7 minutes away. I don't believe in chances. That's too many. And when I met these boys, I didn't want to talk to them. I didn't want to have much conversation, but they just kept coming, like holding lanterns in my darkness. And, my whole life has always had like this dark shadow over me that I could see and stuff, but it made it, the devil thought that he had me with that dark fog over me. But what he didn't realize is that with his dark cloud over me, it was easy to see the light in other people's hearts. And when I would talk to these boys, God bless them, I was a handful. And I remember when we went to church, it was beautiful. And then at church, there was this man that was on the stand. And when I've been to church here and there my whole life, but whenever it was at church, it was like fast. You go in, you get your service, oh, apply it to life, and bye, Felicia. But and there was no talking about the struggles and how we help each other or anything like that. So when I came to this church, this man came up there and he just poured his heart and his soul out about how his struggles in life and everything. And it really touched me, because it's like, thank God I found a church that expresses their struggles and how they get over it. And it was truly amazing. And these boys, like, I watched this lady on Zoom, and she was talking about how she struggled with alcohol and how the boys kept coming and stuff. And I remember I looked at that Zoom and I was like, yeah, whatever, see how long that lasts. But these guys were really genuine. They were always there. And even right here, there's my brothers, and sometimes I think back on that, and I'm just grateful that in the midst of the darkness, God has his missionaries to, sometimes we need guide. We need a push, like, come on this way, follow me, and I'm trying not to cry, but that was how it was. The boys found me and they pushed me back, to come up out this mess, because I was so consumed. And I just remember, like, when I was going through, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking weed, I stopped, tea and coffee, and these guys, they were there for me in the most hardest time, because I was withdrawing, and they were there for me, made sure that, I was, doing right. And, it's good to have somebody there for you. And these truly they're families of the church. And I haven't been a sister very long, but I know that when I read the Bible, I remember Elder Griggs was like, he told me, read it, and you'll feel it. You'll feel that the Bible is, the Book of Mormon is true. And I was like, whatever, I've read many Bibles. What is this gonna do, But I genuinely prayed before I read the Bible, and it was the most amazing feeling. I felt excited to read more. I mean, feelings I couldn't express. And then the next day I was like, he was right. It truly is the book of God, and where I've come from and where I'm at now, I just know that I know that these boys are where they're supposed to be. And even if we get lost in the darkness, God always sends his people out there to pull you back. And even if it's just a text or, hey, you come, don't forget to come to church, it goes a long way, because it's that nudge everybody in this world has that voice that God, whether it's loud or faint, but it's up to us whether we want to come to that voice, listen to that voice, or come to that calling. And I know in my heart, these boys, they're genuine, and that they're doing God's work, and that they are listening to that voice, and that this church is amazing. I love it. And just it's not fake. It is genuinely, they do love you. They do want to help you. They do want to do things with you. And me, my whole life, there was no love there. And I knew in my heart, just because I didn't have love, I knew that it wasn't that. And these boys, they show you that, and you're not even related to them. And, it's like, and you can feel the presence of God on them. When they would come over, they just made me pause in all the chaos that's going around me, just pause and listen to them. And that's how they're looking at your face. They're wanting to talk to you, and I never believed in good men. I never did, because I always caught the worst end of it. But these guys, I can feel it in my heart and my soul that they genuinely are out there to get us back to God, to give us that push and be the person that God wants us to be. And God knows that we love him. And that's why every day I push to struggle and struggle. Hold on, keep holding on. Because right when you're about to let go, God sends his people there. I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but when I come to this church, I just feel that each and every one of us are attached to each other like family, like real family, but without, the blood. And I could feel it in this church. And I just knew that everything that they speak in this church and everything I know, it's not what I see, it's what I feel. And I'm grateful to be a part of this church, and that I love everybody, and I've shown more love than I've ever shown my whole life. And I did not have the greatest mother growing up, but when I got baptized, I wasn't exactly excited to get baptized, because I've been baptized, but not spiritually baptized. And I felt naked, bare, ashamed. And I wasn't excited to get baptized again. So when I did get baptized, when I come up out of this water, everything, I forgot all my pain, all my struggles, all the pain of my upbringing, the love from my mother I never got, the love of my father I never got. And I just completely forgot it. And I was filled with so much joy, so much love, and laughter I've never felt. And when I had that spiritual baptism, it was like coming up out of a coma or something and having amnesia and forgetting all that pain and struggle. And it was the most amazing feeling I've ever felt in my life. And that is exactly what I expected a baptism to feel like. And I just know that everything that happens in this church is all true. And this church is definitely, no doubt in my mind, touched by God. Thank you, guys.
Amen. Thank you, Sister Bell. That was a very powerful testimony. I just to go along with what you said, it said that the elders had helped you recognize where you came from and where you are now, and to be able to see the difference. And I would add to that where you're going and the plan that Heavenly Father has for you. So thank you. I've had the opportunity to meet you and your hubby, and I love you. Thank you for taking the time tonight, both of you. Next, we'll have the privilege of hearing from a couple, brother and sister Lonnie and sister Cecilia Vickers. If we could have Brother Vickers go first, and then Sister Vickers, if you would follow.
Yeah, basically, I mean, it's hard to follow up on what she just said. I mean, it's the truth. I have been through a lot of different churches, through a lot of different struggles in my life, and just seeing the light that came off my wife as she was beginning her process of learning about the church has really just brightened my day, and that led to me wanting to learn and trying to uh, just trying to get in touch with what I think is the real thing. I mean, it. I've been through Roman Catholic, I've been through Assembly of God, I've been through Baptist, and this church is totally different than any other church. It's family. It's it's very true everything they say and everything they teach you. Um, just the light that it brings inside of you and the strength that it gives you and the will that you get from everything that you learn and that you hear. It's just it's hard to explain. Um, I mean, do you have anything to say on that? Because I
Yeah, so we are relatively new. We joined in, well, I started this journey in January, so it's only been about 6 months. And I just like Sister Bell was saying, these missionaries, they are amazing. I mean, the amount of questions I had about this church because of all of the misinformation that is out there. Um, there's so much out there that is being spread that's just, straight lies. And then there's a lot of just misinformation and a lot of half truths and things. And every question I had about this church, the missionaries were just right on top of it, and they got me straight. And the more I learned, the more I realized how much truth was in this word and in the Book of Mormon. Um, and really, that light that he's talking about, I mean, you get it, especially when they're giving you the first few chapters to start reading and everything. You start feeling it in your heart and your soul. You just know something's coming over you, and you don't know what it is yet, but it's the light, it's God, it's telling you that this is right, this is true. And I we've just dived right in. I mean, head first, really. And the family that this church offers is one of the biggest things I love about it, because it truly is special to be a part of something where it's such a huge family. Everybody accepts you and embraces you with open arms. And I mean, that is something that people only talk about with religion. They talk about having that, but you don't see it. You don't see it enough. And in this religion, this church, it's everybody has it, because everybody feels the same love, the same light. Everybody's filled with the same truth, and it's just hard not to want to share that with your gospel family. I mean, it's it really is something special. And um, since baptism, I'd say that we're growing more. He got the Aaronic priesthood just recently, and that was pretty amazing, pretty special. And we're so we're so happy to be part of this church and to continue to grow with it. Um, and we're working on our kids. So that is step by step, trying to get them to the journey to baptism too. And we have, again, wonderful missionaries working on them. And we got teenage boy that is a little bit like, but we got great missionaries working on them. And it's really wonderful, this church. it's wonderful to be a part of. And I mean, I would love to see more people, come in and feel the joy that you get being part of this church, and the light that we were talking about. That light is just infectious. It really is. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey for us, and I can't wait to see how much further we go. Thank you.
Thank you both. That is a spectacular story. Could I ask a follow-up question without putting you too much on the spot? I'm sure the missionaries, we all know the missionaries are wonderful and they do carry a light with them, but I'm sure at some point they asked you to do some certain things. And at what point did you actually start to feel that there was more than just the missionaries, but that there was truth in what was being taught? And what did you have to do to gain that feeling?
For me, I think that when they would ask me to read specific sections in the Bible, and or in the Book of Mormon, and for me, I would text them and I would say, "Hey, I'm having a dark week," and I would be truthful. I would say, this is not a good week for me, and I'm in despair. What do you have for me? What words do you have for me? And they would say, read this. And I would read it, and they would say, pray before you read it, and just read it with an earnest heart. And it was always exactly what I needed, and everything that I would read would just like pour over me, and it would change my outlook for the entire week. I mean, or for the day, or whatever I needed. Every question I had, they had an answer, and it came from the Word. And that was really one of the biggest things that made a change in my life, was um, that feeling. Because when we would get together and we would talk about it, they would say, "How are you feeling?" And I'd say, "I'm feeling goosebumps." I'm feeling good. I'm feeling something. And they'd say, "Yeah, that's it. That's the spirit." Yeah.
Lonnie, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, how about now? Can you hear me now?
There we
Yeah.
go.
I was just going to ask if Brother Vickers had anything of his own to add to that.
Well, I mean, I've always said that when I first started this, I didn't give them anybody a chance. Like I said, I've been through a lot of churches, so I was like, okay, whatever, it's just another story. And just seeing the way that her light had grown from all that, because she was in a very bad depressive state at one point, and her light just shot up to the moon. Then I just had to start learning about what's going on, and just reading the scriptures in the Book of Mormon um, has really opened up my eyes on how the missing chapters of basically of all the Bible is what it feels like. It helps me understand what is missing between the lines. I'm not good at reading between the lines, and this just kind of helps me understand it better. So, and like she said, they always gave us the right scriptures whenever we needed it to to help us feel better, to help us. They knew exactly what to do, and because of that, when I read it, we got those goosebumps, or we got a good feeling, and then that's when we found out that we were getting the Holy Spirit coming to us, and that really helped both of us. I mean, I was in a dark spot. Um, I mean, just really bad, and it really helped us out a lot. Knowing that knowing that there was something else out there that was actually trying to help us. and actually someone else was trying to help us too. Really helped bring us. I mean, it really helped me come around because I was trying to reject constantly, um, and I mean it was tough. It was very tough. But they stuck through it. The missionaries stuck through it. They've taught us a lot, and I'm still. I mean, they're still teaching us to this day, and I really enjoy it. Every time we talk to them, and every time they teach us more and help us tell us what. I mean, it's really nice when they're like, "Hey, you can read this, and it will help you understand us better, or help you understand this problem better." And with that, every time I read it, it just light takes the load off my shoulders and just lightens me up.
Thank you both so much. Thank you to the vicar.